The purpose of this video is to teach you how to serve at St. Nicholas Church. We appreciate that you have decided to become a St. Nicholas server. However, it is important that you pay attention to the details and maintain reverence while you are one of our servers. When you arrive to serve, your first step is to sign in on the server book in the sacristy. Your next step is to dress in your alb and cincture. Please get the correct size and always keep these garments in good order. Thank you. Next, you should check the altar to see that the candles are not there. They should start in the back of church. Check the altar to see if the metal stand is on the altar. If it is not, you should place it there for Mass. The Mass book, red Mass book and the soft folder should be taken and placed on the chairs. Be sure that Father has checked it before you take it out. Check the credence table to make sure everything is there. Then make sure that the red light is turned on for the speakers for Mass. 5 minutes before Mass is to begin, you should proceed to the back to get your candles. Light your candles. Make sure that you notice which one is right and which one is left. The right and left are determined facing the altar. The right server should have the R candle. Proceed inside and be ready for Mass. Father will ring the bell in the back to start the procession in for Mass. You should be behind the cross. The gospel book should be behind you. You will process to the front, stop, and bow to the altar. Careful not to drip wax when you bow. Go and place your candles in the holder and then stand in position with your hands folded and wait for Father. Father will come around to kiss the altar. You should be waiting in position. After he has kissed the altar, then you should proceed to your chairs. Wait on Father. Do not be seated ahead of Father. Father will then wait for the end of the opening hymn. The right server will then pick up the book. It is a good idea to have it before Father says, "Let us pray." Father Rauco likes to read the opening prayers from the book, so it's good if you already have it. Hold the book at a height that is good for him to read from. He will help adjust the height. Try to hold the book as still as you possibly can. Lean it up against your chest to help steady it. Father is done reading the prayer. He will signal to you that he is done. Do not put the book down until he gives you the signal. That way you make sure that he is completely done with the book before you go to put it down. Don't be in a hurry. During the Mass, it is your responsibility as a server to be saying the prayers of the Mass along with the congregation. So when there are times for responses and action, please be sure that you are saying these responses and doing these actions. You are in front of the entire congregation. They do see what you do. Your example is important. When Father is finished, then you will be seated with Father. Always wait on Father to sit down first. When the reader is done with the second reading, please be sure that that book is placed on the shelf. When Father stands, you should stand with him. Hands should be folded. Nothing that you should do up on the altar should be a distraction to any of the people in the congregation. When Father has finished reading the gospel, he will begin the homily. You should be seated for the homily. Please pay attention during the homily. Your eyes should be directed in Father's direction while he's delivering the homily. Once Father is finished with the gospel, then you may be seated. After the gospel, Father will come back over. You should be standing and have the book ready. He will say, "Let us pray." Anytime he says, "Let us pray," that is a signal that you usually are going to have the red book ready for him to read from. As before, hold it steady. After the petitions are read, it is now time to set the altar for the offertory. The right server should place the red book on the altar and get the wooden stand for the red book. The left server should get the priest's chalice and bring the cups that have the 3 cups that have the wine in them. Then the servers should position themselves back in their chairs, but do not sit down. They need to wait for Father. Father will get up once the collection has been taken and come around in front of the altar. Servers should be on each side of him. The right server should take the envelopes, the basket that has the envelopes in it. The left server will usually take the cruet that has the wine in it, and Father will usually take the paten that has the hosts in it. The right server takes the collection basket and puts it in the sacristy. He then joins the left server over at the cruet table. They each take one of the cruets, the water and the wine. Be sure that the handle is turned out when you hand it to Father. Father will take the wine and pour it first. Then he'll take the water and pour it second. He'll give it back to you. You should bow to Father at that point. The servers return to the cruet table. The left server keeps the water and picks up the dish. The right server takes the towel. They then go to Father. They pour the water and hand the towel to Father for washing his hands. Father will give you the towel back. You take him back to the table. At this point, you should straighten your table out. You should put the things that you are finished with. You are finished with the wine, the towel, and the dish. And you should pull out the things that you're going to need later on in the Mass. Once the table is straightened out, servers should take positions standing in front of the chairs along the wall. They will remain here during the consecration. Please stand reverently with your hands folded. After the Our Father, the servers should be ready to go and shake hands with Father for the sign of peace. After shaking Father's hands, both servers should go to the cruet table, get the extra gold patens, bring them and place them on the altar, and bring the 3 white corporals and place them on the altar also. The corporals are the white cloths. Next, the servers should wait for the Eucharistic ministers to take their places, and then the servers should join them to receive communion themselves. Once the Eucharistic ministers go to distribute communion, the right server should get the book, put the stand back on the side table on the right, and bring the book and put it back on the table next to his chair. Both servers can then sit and wait for the end of communion. Once Father returns to the altar after distributing communion, both servers should get up and go over to the cruet table and wait for Father to clean items. He will set them on the side. The servers should then go and pick these items up and take them back over and place them on the cruet table. Please be sure that Father has cleaned things before you pick them up and take them over. During this process, one of the servers should have the cruet with water in it and be ready when Father is ready for it to go and pour it into the chalice, as the server is doing right now. Father will tell you when it has enough in it. He'll usually tip the cup. Once Father has completed cleaning things, he will fold up and place the chalice to the side of the altar. One of the servers should pick the chalice up and bring it over to the side table. Then both servers should return to their positions. It would be good if servers did not sit down at this point. You should wait for Father. Father Rauco will almost always, at this point, come back and immediately be ready for the book. So you should have the red book ready for him for the final prayer. When the reading is finished, Father will give you the signal. Put the red book back on the table. The final song will begin. Father will indicate when he wants the cross and the candle bearers, the servers, to get their candles and proceed to the front. Father will then come to the altar, kiss the altar. He will come around. When Father comes around, he will turn towards the altar and bow. Servers should bow along with him. After they bow, then they should turn and proceed to exit down the center aisle to the church, following the cross. You'll process to the back of church, blow out your candles, and place them back in the holders. After Mass, as the congregation is leaving, it is the server's responsibility to clear the cruet table and bring the items back to the sacristy for cleaning. You do not have to clean them. You should also check and make sure that the stand is back out for the next Mass. Turn off the sound system and neatly place your alb back on its hanger and hang it up. After placing your alb away, If Father is back in the sacristy, ask him if there's anything else that you could take care of before he leaves. If there is not, you are now finished.